Minneapolis Police Department told us on May 25th of last year, after George Floyd died. On Monday evening, shortly after 8 p.m., officers from the Minneapolis Police Department responded to the 3700 block of Chicago Avenue South on a report of a forgery in progress. Two officers arrived and located the suspect, a male believed to be in his 40s, in his car. He was ordered to step from his car. After he got out, he physically resisted officers. Officers were able to get the suspect into handcuffs and noted he appeared to be suffering medical distress. Officers called for an ambulance. He was transported to Hennepin County Medical Center by ambulance, where he died a short time later. End of story. End of police story. That was it. That was the lie they were going to get away with. That was the lie the police officers involved in the killing of George Floyd were going to get away with. No police officer was going to contradict that story. Not one of those cops on the scene was ever going to tell the truth about what happened to George Floyd. Never. But their story fell apart overnight thanks to one person. Darnella Frazier had been on this earth for less than half the time of Derek Chauvin's time on this earth, but at 17 years old, she knew how to do the right thing. Darnella Frazier aimed her phone at Derek Chauvin and George Floyd and held it and recorded every minute of what Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd. Even when Derek Chauvin threatened her with mace, Darnella Frazier held her ground and she kept recording. She then posted her video on Facebook, and the police lie instantly began to crumble.
Probably close to midnight, a community member had contacted me and said, Chief, almost verbatim, but said, Chief, have you seen the video of your officer choking and killing that man at 30th in Chicago? And so once I heard that statement, I just knew it wasn't the same milestone camera video that I had saw. And eventually, within minutes after that, I saw for the first time what is now known as the bystander video.
Darnella Frazier changed the police chief's mind about what happened on that street, and the next day, Derek Chauvin was fired. When Darnella Frazier testified in the trial, she said she wished she did more.
When I look at George Floyd, I look at my dad, I look at my brothers, I look at my cousins, my uncles, because they are all Black. I have a Black father, I have a Black brother, I have Black friends. And I look at that and I look at how that could have been one of them. It's been nights I stayed up apologizing and apologizing to George Floyd for not doing more and not physically interacting and not saving his life. But it's like, it's not what I should have done. It's what he should have done.
All three of the other police officers on the scene could have done more. Each one of them could have intervened and knocked Derek Chauvin off George Floyd's neck. But they did not have Darnella Frazier's courage. They did not have Darnella Frazier's sense of duty to the sanctity of life of another human being. Derek Chauvin is in jail tonight, awaiting a sentence that could leave him in prison for the rest of his life. And that happened because Darnella Frazier pressed record on her phone, because she knew something had to be done for George Floyd, and that was the only thing she could do. Tonight, on her Facebook page, where she posted her video of George Floyd taking his last breath, Darnella Frazier wrote, "I just cried so hard this last hour. My heart was beating so fast. I was so anxious, anxiety buzzing through the roof. But to know guilty on all three charges. Thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. George Floyd, we did it. Justice has been served." Darnella Frazier gets tonight's last word. The 11th hour with Brian Williams starts now.